Oh, poor misguided soul. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, women just don't notice you? You send messages, wait like a desperate puppy for a reply, and nothing. Meanwhile, there's some guy who barely pays her any attention, acts like he doesn't even remember she exists, and guess what? She's obsessed with him. Yeah, champ, I know exactly how it feels. I used to be the sucker who thought flowers, cute messages, and heartfelt declarations were the way to go. You know what I got for that? The classic, "You're amazing, but I see you as a friend." In other words, the gold medal in the rejection Olympics. But then, my friend, I discovered something. Something that guys who actually have women falling at their feet do without even realizing it. A forbidden trigger. Check out that impactful name, huh? That when activated, makes a woman see you in a way even she can't understand. And now comes the part that's going to blow your mind. This secret has nothing to do with looks, money, or status. Yeah, you can put your wallet and little mirror away. The real trick is in your behavior, in how you position yourself. And when you learn how to use this, it's like flipping a switch in her head. And suddenly, she's obsessed with you. And today, my friend, I'm going to lay it all out for you. I'm going to show you, step by step, how to get out of the sad category of nice guys forgotten and into the category of guys they can't ignore. But first, a sincere warning. If you're not ready to be noticed, desired, and chased, you better close this video right now. Now, if you want to learn this secret and finally stop being the side character in your own life, stick with me until the end. Because I promise you, after today, you'll never see relationships the same way again. And before you think this knowledge is free, let's remember the basic rules of the game. This video is only here because other disillusioned souls before you liked and subscribed. So, be a good servant of the algorithm and do the same. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a grateful in the comments. Not for me, but for the glorious YouTube, which decides if this masterpiece of knowledge will save more lost souls like yours. Now, without further ado, let's get to what matters. The problem. Why are you being ignored? My dear WhatsApp sufferer, let's cut to the chase. How many times have you messaged a girl and she just vanished? Read your message and ignored you like you were a bill. Or worse, hit you with that dry haha or LOL, the kind that stings your soul, and disappeared again. And there you were, staring at the screen like a fool, trying to decipher the mysteries of the universe. What did I do wrong? Was the joke bad? Should I have waited longer before sending another message? Was the alignment of the planets unfavorable? If this has ever happened to you, and of course it has, then congratulations. You've officially joined the club of 99% of men who make the same pathetic mistake. But it's not just about messages, buddy. You meet an amazing woman. You're interested in her. You start giving her attention. You do everything right. And then, out of nowhere, she just loses interest. Like someone tossing an old toy to chase after a new one. And what's worse, when she needs a shoulder to cry on, suddenly you're her first choice. But as a guy for something more, oh, that's asking too much, right? Meanwhile, there's always that other guy. The guy who disappears, who barely responds, who doesn't seem to care, and she's obsessed with him. Has this ever made you furious? Because I've wanted to punch a wall trying to figure this nonsense out. Why the hell do women ignore the guys who care and chase after the ones who treat them like an option? Has the world gone mad? Well, after much observation, testing, and hours of reflection worthy of a mad scientist, I finally found the answer. And the answer is so simple it's painful. Humans only value what they feel they can lose. Yes, it's not about being a jerk, rude, or treating a woman badly. You don't need to turn into a heartless ogre. The key here is understanding one of the oldest and most powerful laws of the human mind. Scarcity creates value. And to prove this, let me give you a basic example. Think about the last time you were really obsessed with something. It could be a rare pair of sneakers, a game, an event, an exclusive series. Now reflect. Why were you so fixated on it? I bet it was because in some way it was hard to get. Maybe it was rare, expensive, limited, or something that was being taken away from you. Now apply that to relationships. If you're always available, always easy, always predictable, then what happens? The woman feels like she doesn't need to put in any effort to have you. You're there, served on a platter, an endless supply of attention and affection, and her brain just throws you into the category of guaranteed things. And you know what happens to guaranteed things? They lose value. Now think about the guys who make women go crazy. They have a pattern. They're not always available. They're a mystery. They leave room for the woman to wonder where they are, what they're doing, who they're talking to. And that's exactly where the forbidden trigger I'm going to teach you comes in. If you know how to activate this trigger, you completely flip the game. And now, my dear ex-nice guy who gets ignored, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. The revelation. The forbidden technique. Get ready to have your mind blown. Now that you understand why you're being ignored like a flyer on the street, it's time to reveal the solution. And no, my dear deluded friend, it's not that nonsense of just be yourself or treat her like a princess that's been shoved down your throat since adolescence. That only guarantees you a lifetime pass to the friend zone. What I'm about to tell you is something that the most desired men do naturally, without even realizing it. Something that, if you learn to use it, can make a woman who used to ignore you start chasing you desperately. I call it the magnetic scarcity trigger, and it works for one simple, ruthless reason. Humans only desire what they feel they can lose. Now pay attention, because this part is gold. If you want a woman to become addicted to you, you need to create a cycle of desire and frustration. Let me give you an example. Think of an addictive mobile game. At first, it gives you quick rewards, makes you feel like you're winning, progressing. But then, bam! Out of nowhere, the game gets harder. It takes away resources, makes you wait, creates barriers. And what happens? You want to play even more. You know why? Because when the brain receives something pleasurable and then suddenly loses it, it enters a state called interrupted reward frustration. In other words, when someone gives you attention and then takes it away, the brain panics and activates a compulsive need to seek it again. And guess who uses this as masters of emotional manipulation? The guys who make women obsessed. Now, how do you apply this without coming off as a psychopath? Here's the exact method. 1. Give intense attention, then disappear. If you're talking, be engaging, make her feel like you're present. But then, out of nowhere, vanish. Leave a question unanswered. Be the first to end the conversation. Be the first to leave the chat, to close the topic. 2. Never be predictable. If you always respond at the same pace, she'll predict your behavior and lose interest. Instead, disrupt the pattern. Sometimes respond quickly, sometimes take your time. This activates her brain's hunting instinct. 3. Show that you have a life beyond her. Nothing makes a woman feel attraction faster than a man that other people value. So post stories showing that you're busy, having fun, living your life. This activates another powerful trigger called social value TM. Women want what other people want too. Now maybe you're thinking, but isn't this manipulation? No, you know why? Because women already do this naturally. You know when you send a message and she takes hours to respond, but she's posting stories on Instagram? That activates the exact same trigger. The only difference? Now, you'll be in control of the game. And if you apply this the right way, she'll start missing you before she even realizes it. But hold on, because in the next topic, I'm going to show you the biggest mistake men make that destroys any chance of using this technique. If you think you already know everything, you're about to sabotage yourself. The fatal mistake that gets you thrown away like trash. Now that you understand how to activate the magnetic scarcity trigger, there's something I need to warn you about. Because if you make this fatal mistake, everything I've taught you so far will crumble like a sandcastle in the wind. And I'd bet my liver that you've made this mistake before, and didn't even realize it. You know that moment when you're talking to a woman and everything seems to be going well? She responds quickly, the conversation flows, You feel like you're finally heading in the right direction. But then out of nowhere, she disappears. And what do? You panic. You send another message. You ask if everything's okay. You try to start a new conversation. And before you know it, you've turned into a desperate beggar pleading for attention. And in that exact moment, the game is over for you. The fatal mistake that destroys any chance of attraction. The need for validation. Now think with me. What happens in her head when you do this? She thinks, he's always there, so I can respond whenever I want. He's already guaranteed. And remember the golden rule? Everything that's guaranteed loses value. Now, look at what happens when you do the opposite. Instead of chasing, you hold your ground. You don't show neediness. You don't seek validation like a starving puppy. And that's where the magic happens. The woman notices something very important. Why isn't he chasing me like the other losers? Does he have someone else? Has he already forgotten about me? And bam, her brain goes into hunter mode. Now let me tell you a real story. A friend of mine, let's call him Lucas, was dating an amazing girl. At first, everything seemed perfect. But then, out of nowhere, she started pulling away. And what did Lucas do? The exact mistake I'm warning you not to make. He panicked. Sent a message asking what happened. Insisted. Tried to compensate with more attention, more affection, more messages. Result? She hit him with the classic excuse. Oh, I think we need some time. I'm not sure if I'm ready for something serious. Translation. I lost interest because you became predictable and boring. Good luck in your life. Now, you know what I would have done in his place. If she started pulling away, I'd do the same. No drama. No long texts. No begging like a needy, dignityless loser. Because that's how you keep control. And guess what? Most of the time, she comes back. Because when you don't chase, you activate the fear of loss. Now that you know what the fatal mistake is, I'm going to show you how to apply the technique correctly and make any woman miss you in a natural way without having to beg for attention. Now pay attention because this part is serious. If you're sick of being the sucker she treats like a doormat who accepts crumbs of attention and then gets discarded without ceremony, then wake up. It's time to stop swallowing disrespect and flip this dirty game. Go to the description and grab the digital book I left for you. After reading it, you'll learn how to be a real challenge. Never lower your head for anyone again. Put any woman in her place without mercy. Enough of being stepped on, discarded, and treated like an unimportant plan B. Either you learn this now or you keep being the guy who gets left on read and sends good morning texts to someone who's already forgotten you. The choice is yours. How to apply the method in practice and stop being a doormat. Now that you know what not to do, it's time to learn exactly how to apply the magnetic scarcity trigger, TM, in practice. Because one thing is understanding the theory. Another thing is executing it without coming off as a cold jerk, a disguised needy guy, or an emotionless robot. So, here's a simple, powerful, and foolproof step-by-step guide for you to start changing your stance today. Step 1. Reduce your availability. Stop being the emotional butler. If you're always there, always responding quickly, always ready to answer any message from her, then congratulations. You've already lost before you even started. The rule here is simple. If she takes time to respond, you take double the time. If she disappears for 2 hours, you disappear for 4. If she sends a dry good morning, you don't respond right away. If you're going to respond later, don't reciprocate the good morning like a happy, needy guy. Wait a few hours and then send something interesting, short, and without making it seem like you spent the whole day waiting for that miserable message. This creates unpredictability, intrigue, and makes her never know for sure when you'll respond. And guess what? This makes her start thinking about you a lot more. Women aren't attracted to predictable men. They're attracted to challenges. Step 2. Create moments of uncertainty. The heart races in doubt, not in certainty. Here's the secret that 99% of men ignore. Women don't fall in love with certainty. They fall in love with doubt. If she feels like she's completely conquered you, the excitement disappears faster than your paycheck at the end of the month. Now, if she feels like she could lose you at any moment, the game completely changes. The hook and disappear technique. If the conversation is going well, don't drag it out until it becomes a boring elevator chat. Be the first to leave, but leave with style. Say something like, I need to take care of some things now, but I'll tell you something crazy that happened today later. And that's it. You create a hook, leave her curious, and disappear. Now she'll be wondering, what could have happened? What was he going to tell me? Why did he disappear out of nowhere? And bam. Now without realizing it, she's investing emotional energy in you. Mission accomplished. Step 3. Be the prize, not the hunter. She's the one who has to win you over. Most guys act like the woman is a trophy to be won. Wrong. The guys who make women addicted know one thing. You are the prize. So stop acting like a desperate guy trying to prove you're worthy of her. Instead, make her prove that she deserves your attention. Here are 3 simple ways to flip the script. Instead of asking, can I see you today, say, I'm thinking if it's worth seeing you today. Now, who's in control of the situation? You, too. If she asks something about your life, don't give it all away. Instead of answering directly, say, maybe I'll tell you later, if you're nice to me. This creates a game, a challenge, and makes her have to please you to get more of your attention. 3. Show that you have options. This doesn't mean pretending you have a harem of women fighting over you, but rather making it clear that your life doesn't revolve around her. If she asks, what are you up to? Do not, I repeat, do not respond. Nothing, just waiting for you to reply. Classic mistake of desperate guys. Instead, say something like, just got back from an insane workout. Now I'm going to relax a bit. This shows that you have an interesting and well-structured life with or without her, and that is extremely attractive. Now you might be thinking, okay, but does this really work? And the answer is, yes, it works. And if you still doubt it, I'm going to shove the proof in your face right now. This isn't empty theory from people who've never applied anything in their lives. This isn't cheap guesswork from internet forums. This is applied psychology, and above all, the harsh reality of modern relationships. And I'm not just speaking from my own experience. Here are real stories from guys who were exactly in your situation and completely turned the game around. Case 1. The guy who got out of the friend zone. One of my followers, Pedro, messaged me in despair. He had liked a friend for years. He did everything for her. He was the shoulder to cry on, the psychologist, the shopping bag carrier, the personal driver. And her? She only cared about the bad boys who disappeared, reappeared when they wanted, and gave the bare minimum of attention. Pedro was stuck in the purgatory of the friend zone TM. So I passed on to him exactly what I've taught you here. What did he do? Stopped being always available, started taking longer to respond, created uncertainty, and most importantly, started living his life without being obsessed with her. Result? 3 weeks later, she was the one starting conversations. She started asking why he was different, started showing more interest, and one fine day, she made the first move. Today, they're dating. And why? Because he stopped being predictable and started being a challenge. Case 2, the guy who was ignored and flipped the script. Another guy, Marcos, was getting to know a girl on Instagram. At first, everything was great. She responded quickly, started conversations, seemed interested. But then, out of nowhere, she started disappearing. Messages getting more spaced out. Responses getting shorter. That dry haha that stings the soul. Marcos, poor guy, panicked and asked me, "What do I do?" And I responded, "Disappear too." And what happened? He stopped messaging, posted stories having fun with friends, showed that his life was going perfectly fine without her. And 2 days later, guess who messaged first? Her! And more. When he responded, she was much more interested than before. Why? Because the moment he disappeared, her brain went into panic. The fear of loss activated, and she realized she wanted his attention back. Now answer me. What's the difference between these guys and you? None. The only thing they did was apply the magnetic scarcity trigger, TM, and let the female mind work in their favor. Now imagine what this could do for you. If 2 guys who were in the mud managed to turn things around, why couldn't you? The answer is simple. Either you apply this now, or you keep being the guy who sends good morning texts and gets a dry haha in return. The choice is yours. Now that you've made it this far, congratulations. You already know something that 99% of men will never understand. You finally understood why many women ignore the nice guys and chase after the ones who barely pay attention to them. You've realized it has nothing to do with looks, money, or luck. The secret lies in your positioning. The secret is creating scarcity. The secret is being a challenge. The secret is making her invest emotionally in you. And now I want to challenge you. Starting today, stop chasing. If she takes time to respond, you take longer. If she disappears, you disappear too. If she treats you like an option, you do the same. And above all, focus on your life, your growth, your evolution. Because when you do this, women notice. They feel when a man has options. They know when a man doesn't need them to feel validated. And that is irresistible. Now, I want you to comment below. Which of these strategies will you start using today? Have you ever been in a situation where you realized you were being too easy? What did you do? And if you want more secrets like this, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Because in the next video, I'm going to show you the technique that makes any woman dream about you every night. See you there.